And Governor Greg Abbott would argue that teachers and staff can be first responders by giving them a gun. But take a look at this survey. A survey of nearly 4,000 kinder through 12th grade teachers with the Texas American Federation of Teachers found 77% of Texas school employees do not want to be armed or expected to intercept a gunman. Texas has had the Marshall program since 2013 to allow teachers to carry in classes, and TEA records show that only 361 people have ever been licensed. Rather than keep guns out of schools, Governor Greg Abbott wants to increase the number of armed people and even sent this letter to the TEA's Commissioner Mike Morath to figure out ways to get more people into that Marshall's program. And as a reminder, it is a federal crime to have a firearm in a school zone. And again, 77% say that they do not want to carry. And I spoke with a retired teacher who was not afraid of retaliation because she's no longer with the school district, who said that carrying a gun is an absolute not. And we asked her if she could ever imagine other teachers pulling the trigger. Nelda Rocha started her life's calling December of 1991.
I retired in 2019 after working for 29 years as a teacher for BISD.
And after a career of molding young minds, she's taken on the role of being a full-time grandma.
And I have 3 that attend BISD.
She knows her way around a classroom and isn't a believer in the benefits of standardized testing and how much money is poured into it.
Hey, we're going in or we're staying here? What are we doing?
Columbine and Uvalde changed her world and says she is floored to see history repeating itself and disproportionately millions of dollars going towards security and not support.
Something went wrong there. And if they just do what they keep saying to do, just throw more money at that, throw more money at that. Where's the innovation? I haven't heard any innovative ideas. Where's the money going into helping parents be better parents in Texas? Helping the health professionals at the lower grade levels teach and monitor those children when they're younger, and give them strategies on how to cope, on how to handle things. Hire more people. Well, all the people were right there in the hallway. That didn't do us any good for those children, those souls.
And with more lawmakers supporting teachers' right to carry a gun, that means she could potentially be killing a child.
Can you imagine them doing that and having to take it? They can't. I just don't see it. It's unreasonable, an expectation. It's an unreasonable expectation to require a teacher to take a life of one of their students.
You went like this when I asked that question.
Just chills. Right now I can tell you my whole body is just the conversation that needs to happen. More people need to get chills.
The unthinkable tragedy at an elementary school in Uvalde has school administrators around the country reviewing their security measures. This includes our schools right here in the Rio Grande Valley. The Los Fresnos School District is one of many conducting active shooter drills and checking on alarms and door locks. Law enforcement agents from federal to local participated in the drill. Los Fresnos CISD added 9 new police officers to its school police department in an effort to have officers on every campus.
New initiative was adding an armed police officer at every single campus. So every single campus on day 1 will have an armed police officer stationed on that campus.
While Los Fresnos has its own school district police department, some do not. Harlingen CISD is one example, but in a new move to create stronger school safety measures, Harlingen CISD has worked out an agreement to use off-duty Cameron County law enforcement on its campuses. This is a big change from what they've had in place for decades. This sudden move is happening because the Harlingen School District is on a deadline. Harlingen CISD was told by the city of Harlingen to start its own police department in 2 years. But in a twist, the Harlingen School District asked the Cameron County Commissioners Court to approve the use of off-duty law enforcement officers on their campuses to strengthen school security.
In light of what happened in Uvalde, I think a lot of school districts are looking at how can they do that. There's different approaches. I think one of the opportunities we have that we discovered ourselves is enhancing those partnerships.
For over 20 years, the city of Harlingen has had an agreement to provide some officers to guard certain campuses. Currently, there are 4 full-time and 5 part-time officers who rotate their duties on high school campuses. The Harlingen School District is the largest in Cameron County without its own police department.
I will tell you, I was surprised when I learned that you did not have a school district police department. Is that something that you've been considering in the past? It hasn't been considered, and obviously there was a decision not to do it, but is it something that's been kind of in the works?
Director of Emergency Management Danny Castillo told the Commissioner's Court a school district police department might happen at some point, but not now.
And what would be in the best interest of the taxpayers and where their money is going. And eventually, that's one thing that we've discussed, that I've discussed with our superintendent. We can't take that ultimate decision off the table. That may be something that we may choose to do or may be forced to do.
HCISD has used security guards at the elementary school campuses, but Castillo noted they are not armed.
We're going to have close to 50 non-commissioned in-house security staff members. But by statute, I can't just get their level 3 certification and put a gun on them and have them in our school systems.
The hiring of off-duty armed officers will allow HCISD to have a real presence of law enforcement for the 18 elementary schools, 6 middle schools, and 7 high schools. The school district will pay these officers $45 an hour and reimburse the county or cities involved for the use of patrol cars if they are needed. With the Cameron County agreement, Harlingen CISD will have the ability to hire many more armed police officers to serve their school campuses. 14 school districts in the RGV have a school police department. 19, mostly smaller districts, do not. However, many school districts either hire security guards or make agreements with local law enforcement. For a complete list of these schools, go to valleycentral.com. By the end of the 2022 to 2023 school year, Texas School Safety Center aims to randomly inspect 100% of school districts and 75% of campuses for weak points in schools.
And Governor Greg Abbott handed down that directive after Uvalde's incident, and schools won't be getting a heads up of when they're getting checked. It's to change the habits of what lawmakers called a lackadaisical approach to security checks. Now, I visited Weslaco CISD to see what they're installing to keep intruders out and spot them before they come in.
You have to be readily accessible to adapt to the changing times.
Ahead of the 2022-23 school year, principals at Weslaco ISD are getting an eye-opening class on the 800-plus surveillance cameras on campuses.
We need to make sure that everyone understands that everyone has a part in it.
How much it costs to keep footage, camera specs, high resolution, and most importantly, what to be on the lookout for. Having a bird's eye view of who's trying to come in is one component to following a potential threat. Another is stopping them from ever getting in.
It's a quick access, easily accessible for the classroom teacher.
These night lock devices are designed to keep doors from opening. The district says they'll have these installed in classrooms ASAP.
Hello? Yes,
But schools aren't fortresses, and Deputy Superintendent Abel Aguilar doesn't want them to be either.
We have to find the balance because we're still an educational institution, but we also have to find that balance where everyone understands that. That there's going to be patience involved, and there's going to be certain measures that we were used to that we can no longer do.
Aguilar has 2 teenage daughters who go to Weslaco schools and worries of the unknown dangers.
I don't think there's any parent out there that is not worried.
Part of the active shooter response playbook by the Department of Homeland Security that Texas schools use from Region 1 suggests that as a last resort to take someone down yourself. We asked if it's a concern because kids, for example, at Sam Houston Elementary could not likely do it.
So, difficult question. Yeah, it is. It is a difficult question because it goes back to why are we noticing these behaviors? What steps do we have in place to intervene and provide services, not only to the student, but to the families? So that is going to be a key component and not let a student go too far without receiving those services that they need. So the security measures are critical, but so is that mental health component, the social emotional learning. We have to make sure that that is blended in and it has a good balance with it.